you, it matters to us.
Good afternoon, welcome to the KFM Lunchtime News today, the 14th of August 2024. To present it, I'm Jack Mapembulo. We also want to welcome those following us on our Facebook page and YouTube. We take a look at the headlines. Sangwa's described the corruption that is happening in the UPND government as more harmful. 61 billion kwacha in illicit financial flows and tax evasion reported in the first quarter of the 2024 by FIC. And in other local news, Chief Mailo of Serenje urges subjects to use government funds responsibly. In international news, the Thai court dismisses PA for violating constitution, and Avram grants to name squad for the back-to-back Morocco 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers.
The KFM News, if it matters to you, it matters to us.
And now the news in detail. Renowned constitutional lawyer John Sangwa has described the corruption that is happening in the UPND government as more harmful than the corruption that was observed in the past. And Sangwa says he's disappointed, as many Zambians are, with the manner in which the UPND is running government. He says President Hakainde Hichilema's declaration of the fight against corruption was just a slogan with no commitment. Sangwa described the fight against corruption in the UPND regime as not serious. State Council Sangwa says corruption under the PF is already done, as the people have already stolen money and have already taken their bribes, and the damage is already known. He says there is a past corruption and there is ongoing corruption, and the most harmful corruption is not the past corruption, but the corruption that is happening now that is more harmful to the nation. $61 billion kwacha in illicit financial flows and tax evasions has been reported in the first quarter of the 2024 by the FIC. This is up to about 61 billion in illicit financial flows, including tax evasion, have so far been included in the current 2024 Financial Intelligence Center revelations. The 60 billion exposed come at the heels of the fourth quarter of 2023, barely 6 months ago, in which the FIC suspected IFF's report revealed that Zambia had lost $2.8 billion, equal to 56.5 billion kwacha. And now, within the first quarter of 2024, tax evasion and illicit financial flows are not slowing down, and the country is now recording a 60 billion kwacha loss in fraudulent financial activities, mostly conducted by foreigners. Chief Mailo of the Lala people of Serenje district in Central Province has urged his subjects to stop abusing government empowerment programs such as the social cash transfer, or now called. The traditional leader emphasized that the funds are meant to address poverty among the people. He encouraged his subjects to embrace initiatives such as village banking to sustain themselves, noting that the government is doing its part. The chief made the remarks in Somaurwa area during a tour of the chiefdom, an exercise locally known as Umulondo. Chief Mailo further urged government officials and elected leaders to explain the government's interventions clearly, as people might feel neglected when they are not. He also called on his subjects to adopt a culture of working together to address challenges such as repairing boreholes to ensure the success of water projects, acknowledging that the government cannot do everything. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) says Zambia's performance on the IMF program has been exceptionally good, as the government has managed to meet all the targets except for one. Asked about how Zambia has performed on the IMF program so far, IMF resident representative in Zambia, Eric Lucia, has told Phoenix News that it is the country's satisfactory performance that enabled the IMF board to conclude the review, which allowed the country to access about $570 million under the third review. Mr. Lucia says this includes the 30% quota augmentation that was requested by the Zambian government. He says a total of about $570 million was dispersed at the end of June to Zambia between budget support to help with the drought response and addressing some of the financial constraints. Former economic advisor to immediate past President Edgar Lungu, Hivene Mwinga, has refuted allegations that his properties are proceeds of crime. Mr. Mwinga has also wondered how he is accused of having properties deemed to be proceeds of crime when he already had money and other investments before he was appointed in 2015. The accused told the magistrate that he earned not less than $2 million when he worked for African Development Bank (AFDB) from 2006 to 2010. Mr. Mwinga wondered why he's been accused of acquiring assets using proceeds of crime when he worked for his hard-earned money, even before being appointed by Mr. Lungu. He adds that he earned and saved a lot of money when he worked as FDB Director Group Advisor to the Board of Directors and also had extra money from his business ventures. Mr. Mwinga adds that when he worked for FDB in Tunisia, the accused and his wife ordered clothes and shoes from Scotland and reselling them, from which the couple made profits in excess of $3 million. This is in a case where Mr. Mwinga, 60, of Mwembeshi, his wife Mercy, 56, and son Akantu, 33, are charged with numerous counts of possession of properties valued about 41 million kwacha and over 239,900 kwacha US dollars reasonably suspected of being crime proceeds. An investigator had narrated that Hivene earned between 10 million kwacha and 15 million from 2015 to 2021. But in his defense, yes, the allegations is alleged to have committed between 2015 and 2021. And now the state is in a tight spot after High Court Judge Chibombo Maka declined to adjourn the case involving Shadrack Kasanda, who faces allegations of aggravated robbery related to the $5 billion stolen from an Egyptian last year. Judge Maka has ordered the Lusaka-based arresting officer in the case to appear before her by 14 hours today. She warned that a bench warrant could be issued if the officer fails to attend. The allegations against Kasanda states that on August 13, 2023, he used a pistol to steal $5 million from Egyptian national Michael Adele Michael Botros and subsequently threatened to use violence to prevent Botros from reclaiming the stolen funds. This case is linked to a gold scam scandal at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. This morning, Deputy State Advocate Richard Masempera requested an adjournment until tomorrow, citing the need to finalize witness arrangements. However, Judge Maka questioned Masempera's sincerity, given that the state had previously proposed these dates and assured that witnesses would be present. Former Solicitor General Abraham Mwanza opposed the adjournment, highlighting that the state had 47 days to prepare its witnesses and noting that Kasanda's continued detention infringes on his presumption of innocence. Judge Maka criticized the state's lax approach to the prosecution and decided to stand down the matter to allow the arresting officer to testify. The case has been adjourned to 14 hours today. Director of Public Prosecutions DPP Gilbert Piri says there will be an upswing of asset forfeiture even after people are prosecuted for corruption-related offenses despite criticism of the practice. In an interview with Phoenix News, Mr. Piri clarifies that his office will be applying for forfeiture of assets at the end of all corruption-related cases as he firmly believes in the forfeiture of proceeds of crime. He explains that the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act exists for that reason, and that some provisions under this law also allow authorities to do non-conviction forfeitures, and has challenged those that think that forfeiting assets is wrong to go back to Parliament and amend the law. And Mr. Piri has dispelled sentiments that the forfeiture of assets has increased corruption among authorities, arguing that the country has safeguards the system. Before we take a look on the international news, a recap on the top stories. Sangwa has described the corruption that is happening in the UPND government as more harmful. 61 billion kwacha in illicit financial flows and tax evasion reported in the first quarter of the 2024 by the FRC. Chief Mailo of Serenja urges subjects to use government funds responsibly. And coming up, Thai court dismisses Prime Minister for violating constitution. Avram Grant to name squad for the back-to-back Morocco 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers.
If it matters to you, it matters to us.
A Thai court has dismissed Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin for appointing to his cabinet a former lawyer who was once jailed. The Constitutional Court ruled that Mr. Srettha had violated the rules on ethics with the display of defiant behavior. The 67-year-old Srettha, who has been in power for less than a year, is the third PM in 16 years to be removed by the same court. He will be replaced by an interim leader until Thailand's parliament convenes to elect a new prime minister. Mr. Srettha's dismissal means he has now gone the way of so many other parties and administrations in Thailand, failed by the disproportionate power of the country's constitutional court. And now, vaccines to help curb an escalating mpox outbreak in Democratic Republic of Congo and neighboring countries may still not reach the Central African country for months, even as the World Health Organization considers following Africa's top public health agency in declaring the outbreak an emergency. On Tuesday, Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention declared the public health emergency of continental concern for the first time ever, and on Wednesday, a WHO-led panel meets to decide if it represents a global threat. But while experts hoped the meeting would galvanize action worldwide, many obstacles remain, including limited vaccine supply, funding, and competing disease outbreaks. But he acknowledged the road ahead was not easy in a huge country where health facilities and humanitarian funds are already stretched by conflict and outbreaks of diseases like measles and cholera. And now we get to the world of sport. Chipolopolo head coach Avram Grant is set to name his squad for the back-to-back Morocco 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The former Chelsea boss will reveal his squad for the matches against Ivory Coast and Sierra Leone in the next 72 hours. There is a great expectation to see if Fashion Sakala Jr. will return to the setup after being left out for the back-to-back World Cup qualifiers against Morocco and Tanzania. Lamek Ban, Cletus Chota Chama, who missed the two games also due to injury, are now back and is expected to be part of the squad. Grant will be hoping this main striker Patson Daka quickly recovers from the injury he suffered during Leicester City's 1-0 loss to Lens in a friendly match. Zambia will be away to Ivory Coast in Bouake and then host Sierra Leone in Ndola. The two matches will be played in the window of September 2 to 10. Match day 3 and 4 will be played between October 7 to 15, and we'll see Zambia face Chad in back-to-back games, with Jamena hosting the second match. The November window will see the final two matches, with Copper Bullets tie against the Elephants, the one to look out for. The final Group G fixture will be against the Lyon Stars in Freetown. The top two countries in each group will qualify for the 35th edition in Morocco. Ronald Sate Kampamba, aka Landlord, and Donatiano Malama have joined the Nkana technical bench as third assistant coach and physical trainer, respectively. The duo were longtime members of the Nkana squad, contributing massively to the team's success, especially in the 2010s. The Landlord first joined Nkana in 2007 and stayed at the Quito Giants side for 8 continuous years before making a move to the Egyptian side, Wydad in 2015, and also had a stint at Belgian side Leeds SK. Kampamba retained Tunkana at the end of the 2016 soccer season. Kampamba was part of the team that won one league title in 2013 and 2019-2020, two Absa Cup, Barclays Cup, 2018, Charity Shield, 3 Charity Shield, 2014, 2018, 2019, and 2020. At a personal level, at Nkana, Kampamba achievements include Zambian League top scorer in 2012, 2013, 2013 to 2014, Footballer of the Year in 2014, and Youth Player of the Year in 2013. Meanwhile, Donashano Marama retained Tunkana last year, 5 years after leaving the club. We now come to the end of this news bulletin, but before I run a recap on the top stories. Sangwa has described the corruption that is happening in the UPND government as more harmful. 61 billion kwacha in illicit financial flows and tax evasion reported in the first quarter of the 2024 by FIC. Chief Mairo of Serenja urges subjects to use government funds responsibly. Thai court dismisses Prime Minister for violating Constitution. And Davram grants to name squad for the back-to-back Morocco 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. Ends the news at 13 hours. We have another bulletin coming up this evening at 18:15. Before that, we have the news summary at 16 and the news headlines coming up at 14 hours. On behalf of the news crew at K, this is Jack Mwapembulo. Join us for another bulletin later.
Back on 95.5, a breath of fresh air.
The meaning of life is not to simply exist, but to move ahead, to rise up and achieve, to conquer. Introducing Kung Fu Energy Drink, your push for the next conquest. Kung Fu Energy Drink, master of power.
Everyone out there knows that our confidence comes from the way we look and feel, and because we all have different skin types, we frequently need a unique solution for all skin types every day. This is why MediHerb introduces MediHerb Turmeric Soap with turmeric extract and argan oil that has anti-inflammatory and antibacterial benefits. MediHerb Saffron Soap with saffron and almond oil, which are vitamin enriched with antioxidant properties. Trust in MediHerb Ayurvedic Herbal Soap with 18 herbs and natural oils. Take care and revitalize your skin every day.
Today,
Start big.
victory corn. Victory corn.
Journey will be big, stay on your feet, change your cheap, give it your all and just give it. Beat when you start. Tree.
Today, the best maize grain Zambia has to offer are perfectly toasted into golden flakes that pack a big crunch. Today, Start big with Fig Tree Cornflakes.
Clean and ready to go. Now tell me, do you feel the flow?
Now you can use some yellow to brighten up the show. What if you find do is get the rich? What makes me feel alright? Then have to go. Everybody in the makes you happy, makes you feel
It's not a meal, but it's just as filling. It's not a fruit, but it's just as giving. It's Smooth Shaky Joe. Shaky Joe. Smooth Shaky Joe. Shaky. Get rid of that hungry stomach rumble. Get yourself a refreshing Shaky Joe fruity milk. Strawberry pineapple. Mixed berry. Smooth Shaky Joe.
Shaky Joe, fill yourself with goodness.
Uncle Joe. Mwabumbe. Balifia buno kuanda. Oh. Oh, ya fotri fema. Depo kapanganda pa presidente ko anchi. Não foi muito ali. Queria uma coisa com. É. 7 minutes ago. Loro bana kamotoro bachilala ndolo chero. Ndebe bati twachimusanga nomba tari bwino zo tu samba kumatena zwantu mina kwacha ikala bwino ali akuno kula so nasabe banjere yoni sayini ndatina ino muntu wo wali ba mu critical condition esa bwere because nali fumwene na uyu no wafire na fair. Wanti. Jumba pe. Wanti. Chao mama yako. Pesi ndikushani yako na inoko. Na ndikusheka bana ndio kwa trista ngoto penika. Naisa na like. Naisa ndikusheka bana ndikusheka. Mm.